your initial reaction when you saw your guys, your name pop up on the board there?
I was stunned at how quick it came up, and I did not see it matching up with a 7 seed in complete honesty. But I was sitting in the room. We didn't do anything official, but we were in the locker room, the lounge area there, and I just sat in a chair where I could see everybody's reaction, and my side was to the television, and I wanted to see my family's reaction, all the players' reaction, coaches that were here and their families' reaction, and it happened so fast that I know I missed a little bit of it. But it is such an incredible thing for these guys, and really with the exception of Yogi and Hunter, and they were so young when it first happened, and it was such a run that year with being number one for as much as we were and all of that you kind of get caught up in the day-to-day of it. Well, these guys, there was some anxiousness to it. They were very tight this morning when we went to weightlifting, and we practiced this afternoon before it, and because in my mind I'm saying we need to practice in case we're heading to Dayton, because it'll be a very short period of time, and we knew that it could go anywhere from Tuesday night to Friday night, and so we had to be prepared. But it's a great feeling to watch people that put so much into it, being the players, the coaches, and the families, and see them have that kind of expression of just pure unbridled joy. And there's just no question that's what it was. It was exciting.
You said you had some thoughts you might be going to Dayton.
Well, it's just guess. I mean, I had no premonition or anything, but.
Why do you think you ended up with 10 seed?
Well, it's interesting, and I wasn't even aware till a little while ago that we were the first 10 seed. I think what it goes to show is that when they get in that room, they judge the body of work. It's not a popularity contest. It's not about who said what. It's not about predictions. It's not about opinions. It's about the fact of the work. And I think the fact of the matter is that we, from start to finish, obviously we've lost games and we've had some lulls, but we scheduled the way that you're supposed to schedule. We won some of those games. We beat some ranked teams, and we play in one of the best leagues in the country. And we play a brand of basketball that is capable of winning games. And obviously, with the youth that we have, we've got to keep improving it. And hopefully this past week showed that we can, and that we can get better, and that we are a resilient bunch. But I haven't heard the explanations yet of it. But I think there's other factors in the power of the league, and I guess that'd be a big one. But we're just proud to be in it. So I don't have an explanation, but I know that when you really want something so bad for people, like we wanted it, like I wanted to see it for these players and the coaches, that you're just happy to be in. And when you get a situation like that, it's an added bonus. And then reality sets in that you're getting ready to play an outstanding team, a team that has perennially been very good since Greg has been there. And we could talk more about that later, but a team that we're going to have to be really, really good to compete with and beat that night. There's no doubt about it.
Was there, before you saw the seed line, was there any trepidation in your mind about not making it, especially with seeing like Wyoming steal that bid?
Well, believe it or not, I really wasn't focused on any of that. I was very calm today. I was very calm with all of it, because you just kind of insulate yourself into the point of what you need to focus on. And I'm aware of what's out there and those type of things, but again, it just proves the point. Those things don't matter. What matters is what's done in that room. What matters is what they think, not what somebody's opinion is or not what somebody's prediction is. And I think that plays itself out when you look at the seed that we got. So to me, no, we were, it was a normal day. It was prepare for practice, work on film. I had definitely jumped into some potential teams that we could have faced in Dayton, just to have a leg up. Looking at different numbers of different teams. Go to church, come back, do some more work, take a run, go to practice, get ready to roll. And other than that, very normal day and very calm. I felt a little bad for them this morning. They were tight, but that's part of it. It's part of youth. It's part of the anxiousness. They wanted in. They wanted an opportunity, and to see them react the way that they did. And I wouldn't call it relief. I would call it just pure joy. They were so excited, which is one of the major reasons that you do this job, is to watch those guys have moments like that. It really is. It's just like watching your family be that happy.
And I guess to follow up on that, you talked about them being tight. As you weren't, I mean, did you talk to them at all? Or is it something where maybe on a day like this, you just kind of have to let them experience it and just sort of let it play
No,
out?
we've done what we've done. We got back and we focused on basketball. We focused on what we needed to get better at, and especially with our films and our meeting last night. It's not about, it was not about worrying about it. We knew, barring something unforeseen, we were going to be playing another game, okay, whether it was in that tournament or the NIT. And our focus needed to be on making sure that no matter when it was, we knew we were preparing for a game, not a team. And we had to make sure that we kept getting better. So I think we've done a really solid job of staying focused on what we could control, which has been what the mantra's been all year long anyways. And that this week was definitely about that as we prepared, for Chicago. There needed to be we needed to re-energize a little bit and sharpen up a little bit, but we also needed to see what was holding us back. And we worked hard to correct that, and for the most part, with the exception of some of the free throws on Friday night, we did a pretty good job with those things. Mike?
Oh, I'm sorry. Two-part question, kind of. How's Hunter doing? And getting into that Friday game, is that good on your end? Sort of give him an extra day.
Oh, that could definitely work better for him. Yeah, he's shooting and has been warming up and rehabbing, moving pretty well. We didn't practice him today, but we're definitely on a belief that he's going to be back. So certainly Friday helps a great deal. Would Tuesday have helped? That's to be, I don't know. We won't have to worry about that now. But hopefully later in the week he's definitely going to keep making the progress that he's making. Because like I said the other day, it certainly could have been a lot worse. And the way it looked, it was a lot worse, but it ended up not being that way, which is very fortunate for him to not have to go through another trek like that, and for us.
What stands out about Wichita State? We won 63 of their last 16 games.
I didn't know that one, but I'll know a lot more about the numbers later tonight. What stands out is how physical they are, and they're very, very thick. It's eye-popping when you watch them on the screen right now with how strong and physical they are, and their guards, the inside play. I mean, they not a huge team, but a very thick, well-built, well-conditioned, weight room-built team. And the things, you're going to have to absolutely be ready for a fight on the glass. I mean, if you don't come in with that kind of mindset, it's not going to be a great game for you. You got to earn your baskets against them because of that physicality. I think they're a great screening team, so you're going to have to really do a fantastic job of navigating on defense. And they've got a couple of bona fide stars in Baker and Van Vliet. And the bottom line is they've got a bunch of other guys that really know how to play and that make each other better constantly. They get the ball inside. This is one of the most balanced teams we will have faced for the ability to shoot threes, play at the rim, and get to the free throw line. And this is where hopefully the schedule that we've played, the league that we've played in, helps prepare you for that. But I think the one thing that to me that stands out about them that they don't get a lot of credit for is how fast they are. So I think they can play a lot of different styles. They're one of the more experienced teams. You can see the experience in them because they make so few mistakes and they don't turn it over very much. And they've got a lot of positive assist turnover ratios with their players. So it's not a game where we're going to be able to go in and get by with a lot of mistakes or get by with not rebounding the ball. So we're really going to have to be on top of our game for that in a short period of time.
You talked about your team not having a ton of experience. You've taken teams at Indiana and obviously Marquette as well with a lot of experience into the NCAA tournament. The team you're facing is one that certainly returns a lot of, I guess, just hands-on experience in the tournament. Is that overrated? How valuable is it?
No, it's not overrated at all. It's this time of year, and there's nothing we can do about it, right? We've just got to understand our situation. Basketball is going to be crucial in how you come out of timeouts. Your special situations of baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds. You got to steal possessions at places. And we're going to have to get on the glass. But we can't get away from what we do. We can't get tight with taking a shot. The key is to not take challenge shots. When we don't make the next pass, we're not nearly as good. And we've got some guys that can make shots with a hand in their face, but we've got to make sure that it's one dribble quick, we're shot faking, we're making the next pass, we're getting Troy where he needs to be strong. This is a time of year where, we'll be new to them, they'll be new to us, everybody will prepare, but you've got to find a way to get your edges to come out. You've got to find a way to get your strengths to come out in the game because they're going to want the same thing. And who does a better job of taking away each other's strengths is usually going to be the team that finds a way to win the game. Then it comes down to that margin for error that is so small, so how do you capitalize on that? Were you good on your baseline and sidelines, like I said? Did you come out of the timeouts the right way? Did you go and make your free throws? And our guys are excited because they believe if Doug McDermott scored all those baskets in that gym, it's got to be some nice soft rims. It's the first thing I heard Yogi say. So hopefully we'll shoot the ball well. But they shoot the ball well. So it's not underrated at all. You've got kids in this game now that have played in the Final Four game, against Louisville. So, excuse me. We've got to be, and I had a great seat for that game. I mean, it's funny watching those guys now. I mean, they're just a little bit bigger, but they have the same type of game, and the game was pretty good then. So we're not going to win on the experience game. We got to win on making sure that we play as mistake-free as possible and yet play to our strengths.
Tom?
Yep.
Van Vliet is kind of the engine that runs the train. Can you talk a little bit about him?
Well, I haven't watched enough film to say that it's one guy. I mean, obviously he's a great point guard. But Baker's going to play in the NBA too. I mean, they're a good team. They have a very good backcourt, and they know how to play inside. They're very physical and strong, and they don't post up and hit you with their back. They post up and nail you. I mean, they come into you, and I mean that in an aggressive, positive way. They get after you, and so. We're going to have to do a great job on him, on Fred. I don't know him. I've respected him for a long time. He chases down rebounds. He's got great deceptiveness in his game with his footwork, whether it's with the dribble, without the dribble. They do a great job from what I've seen initially now here on reading screens. And, again, he can play at the rim because of his strength. He can play in the mid-range. He's got a very positive assist-turnover ratio, and he can make threes. What you think they're getting ready to do, they may not be getting ready to do. You cannot. The other day with Des Wells, one thing that they've really done a great job of is Des gets down into what we call the alley area. He gets down into the baseline area, okay? He's just waiting for you to stand up just for a little bit. Obviously we had some matchup issues because we're not as big, right? But you can't ever stand up with him. You can't ever get even with him because as soon as he sees that, he's nailing it and he's coming into your body. And that's what experienced players do. They understand how to set you up. Well, that's what I see with Fred. That's what I see with Ron Baker. Those guys set you up. And if you get caught relaxing for a second, they're going to go by you, they're going to shoot it over you, or they're going to cut in front of you. So we got to be on high alert. Our awareness has got to be tremendous in this game.
Tom, you talked about the unbridled joy that you saw.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you watch that play out, given some of the things that this team has gone through this year, what sort of emotions did you feel? What sort of thoughts went through your mind as you watched that?
Well, I didn't cry actually, which is rare. It happened so fast. I was stunned. I'd be lying to say that I saw a 10 seed coming. I mean, honored to have it. I mean, we're grateful for it. But it came up so fast because it's all of a sudden it's like there's Kansas and then there's Wichita State, and I'm saying, wow, Wichita State could play Kansas in the second round. Whoa, there's Indiana. So it was just one of those deals, and that was my thought process, and I turned right away to catch them. And so it's a great feeling. I mean, when you watch your kids, your wife, I mean, the coaches' wives. I mean, Chuck was in New York recruiting, but yet his wife and two sons were in there. And it's just an incredible feeling to watch them be a part of it. And it's just one of those moments that you never, ever get tired of. You've had the thrill of sitting there watching your name come up, but when you get to watch somebody else watch their name come up, that's bigger to me now. In the old days, it was different. That's bigger to me.
Because I wasn't there.
You could have got me going. No, you're giving yourself way too much credit. But you keep tricking yourself. Okay.
Yogi talked in Chicago. He said that the team, I guess, did some self-analysis between the end of the regular season, the Big Ten tournament, and saw these moments where they were sustaining intensity, energy, or whatever, that were just weren't being sustained, and he felt like they kind of got some of that back in Chicago. Did you see that?
Absolutely. It's in the film. I mean, it's very easy to see it in the film. And like I said, you got to absorb it first. I mean, it's got to hit you in the heart, right? I mean, you got to see it and you go, whoa, I can do better here. And then you have to apply it. And it wasn't like anybody wasn't playing. I mean, think about it. That free throw rolls in. There's a pretty good chance, you know, we got the crowd behind us and we're rolling into that overtime. Everybody's excited because of the comeback. Maybe we get the win, right? It's another topic. But we didn't. So we had to really look. But even if we'd have won that game, we would have had to go in there and say, we're missing some things here. You know, there's some things that we do that we're not doing as well right now. And one of the great lessons for these guys is they get a lot of attention and a lot of credit, and they've earned their way to having a very good offense because of the way we can shoot and the way they get out and run. But we're only really that good on offense if we're getting some things off of our defense. We're really only that good on offense if we're not turning the ball back over. We're really only that good on offense if we're getting through the paint. And if you're getting through the paint, you got a chance to get fouled, right? So then that gives you that much more. And so the bottom line is you got to pick your defense up, and you got to pick your edge up a little bit. And we wanted to get after Northwestern. Well, if you get after Melo Trimble that way and you pick him up full court, all of a sudden he's shooting 12, 14 free throws. So you still got to have the pickup point for Trey Demps and Bryant McIntosh was different than the pickup point for Melo Trimble, but the bottom line is the same thing. You've got to bring some energy to it. You've got to bring some edge to it. You've got to have your help defense ready to go, and you've got to be ready to be in a physical battle. And again, to me, we lost the game Friday night. But the fact of the matter, when you really look back at it and watching the film, you can see it when the shooting wasn't keeping us in it, okay? Being able to go down there and defend them was keeping us in it. And both teams were really, really battling. We played a team that night that, to me, they can win a lot this month. I mean, they are an outstanding team because they have experience, they have guard play, they have inside play, they have the matchup that's a nightmare in Des Wells. They're well coached and they're deep, and they shoot it. So for us to go toe-to-toe on that line with them was encouraging to me, that even when we don't have our offense clicking the way that it is and we miss some open shots again late, that we're capable of going against a good team like that this time of year. And that we have to build on.
Anything else?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Talking about going back to the inexperience and then combining that with the joy you were talking about, is there a way to kind of use those things to work in your favor and maybe play a little more free or have a little more fun with this?
That's a, you know, we don't want free and loose to turn into sloppy and inconsistent, because sometimes that can happen. The biggest thing you got to watch for this time of year is getting out of character. It doesn't matter if it's young or old. It's a lot easier to do it when you're young, but sometimes it happens when you're older. You cannot go into this tournament with anything less than playing the most simple brand of basketball that works for you. Now, does that mean we added some things today? We added a couple things conceptually today. We went back and worked hard on our edges today, and it was only an hour and a half. But so you want to play to your strengths. You want to add a few things, but the last thing you want to get is start having players trying to invent new things in this time of year. Those teams don't win. And with inexperience, and when you get into a situation like that, the biggest thing that scares me now, I shouldn't say scares me, but you see it on film and you just go, whoa. I mean, this is a physical, strong team. They're not the biggest team we will have faced, but they're an extremely physical team. So we're going to have to deal with that, okay? We're going to have to deal with that. We've got to find a way to still keep that court spaced. We've got to find a way to not let them overpower us. We've got to find a way to deal with all these screens. So now you start to help them with, okay, this is what they do. Ohio State does very similar to this, or Purdue does that, or Michigan State does that. You start giving them reference points because it's not about trying to teach them all these things that Wichita State does. It's about, hey, this is how we guarded Ohio State when they went to this, or Baker does this, remember when so-and-so did that. So it kind of jogs them a little bit. And you keep trying to simplify it through your game planning throughout the week. But you just keep harping on the simplicity of the game. Next pass, get back on defense, block your man out, and most importantly for us, play with that energy and play with that edge. That's what it comes down to, more than anything else.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Are we